Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories like these. Now, let's get into today's story video. Ada for getting mad at my sister for telling my GF about our family's wealth. For their part, my parents have made it a point to make certain that we never discuss our financial condition in public. Examples include the fact that we have lived in the same house for more than 15 years, that we do not dress or drive in a flashy way, and that we prefer to spend our money on experiences rather than tangible items. My younger sister, the spoiled brat who feels she is entitled to her share of the family's money, enters the picture and things become interesting. She just turned 21, and I feel that part of the reason for this is because she is now learning about her own trustworthiness as well as how the rest of the world views her and us as a family. Being 25 years old and the eldest of 3 siblings, I've been aware of what's been going on for quite some time. Simply put, my sister and I ended up going car shopping with my girlfriend for expensive new vehicles, which was a lengthy story short, Porsche, to be exact. It is unclear what she will do since my father has not given her permission to do anything at this time. Apparently, she showed his credit card to the salesperson and boasted about how much money she had available for purchase, according to the police complaint. That I was driving an unassuming, typical 10-year-old Lexus while my sister was spending $100,000 on a car surprised my fiancé. Because she was startled at how much money we had and felt I was a bit selfish for not bringing it up sooner. Given that she was drowning in college and medical loan debt, we ended up bickering about it and she was right. Honestly, we'd just been dating for 2 years and I had planned on proposing and starting this dialogue after roughly 1 year, provided that things were going well between us. According to my views, everything happened much too rapidly for it to be taken into consideration at the time. I'm really enraged with my sister, and I've taken my rage out on her in public. It was I who confronted her, telling her how immature and self-centered she was, and how she was undermining everything our parents had worked so hard to instill in us as children in terms of morals and ethics. She was visibly upset. She seemed to be in a state of extreme distress. Her remarks were seen as a need for me to develop, and my response was to behave in a childish manner. Is there a member of the AITA in attendance? Story 2. AITA for yelling at my aunt that I want to go back to my real home. I live with my younger brother Ben, 12, and my younger sister, who is 16 years old, in order to make ends meet, 35. She's a millionaire in her own right, if you ask me. We live on a farm in British Columbia, and her home is a behemoth by any standards. In addition to attending luxury meals and meeting members of parliament, she maintains a vast number of business contacts. She bought a PlayStation 5 for my brother on the day it was released, and he loves it. Despite the fact that our mother was impoverished and that we lived in a 1-story house, I like my childhood home. When our mother died away, it had been planned for us to go in with our father's parents in Ontario. However, our aunt opted to take us both in instead. Prior to then, I didn't have a very close relationship with Aunt Katie. Her presence with my mother and grandparents for a period of time, followed by her abrupt disappearance, was something I remember from my childhood. Consequently, Mom always said that they had a terrible argument, but she never spoke about it, and Aunt Katie's stories gave me the impression that they didn't really like one another as a result of it. Even while I am aware of Aunt Katie's concern for me, as shown by the fact that she will teach me how to cook as well as attend my athletic activities and assist me with pre-calculus when she is able, Ben is on a whole other level. When it comes to his mother, she treats him as if he's her own kid, and I've always felt like I'm a visitor in her home. Not sure why, but I've been missing my family a lot lately, and I asked my mother yesterday after dinner if I could go see them, and she said she wouldn't allow me to. When pressed further, she said, "Why would I want to go back there when she's given me something so much better?" She answered. As a consequence of this, there was some friction between us, and she stated her disgust with the sight and warned that visiting it would be bad to her. After that, I yelled at her, stating that I wanted to return to my proper home and that she should be aware of how grateful I was for allowing me to stay in her home while it was my home. Just as suddenly, she became deafeningly silent and told me to go to my room. Last night, when I went to the bathroom, I overheard her sobbing in her room, which makes me sad, but I'm not sure if I'm right, since I simply want to watch it again. As soon as I informed Ben about the scenario this morning, he accused me of being a jerk for causing her to weep, despite the fact that she is quite helpful to us. Because I am writing this in my spare time, I am unclear how much I will be able to react to your questions. Edit. Just a little note before the lunch hour comes to a close. My mother died when I was 12 and my brother was 8, and we have been living with my Aunt Katie ever since. This year, she couldn't just accept us as we were. Update. Aunt Katie was really busy all day on the day I wrote, so I didn't get to meet her on that day. Despite the fact that my mother surprised me by picking me up from school the next day, Ben had taken the bus. She said that we would address it at home the following night. After that, she took me shopping and then to the spa, where we spent the rest of the day together enjoying ourselves. Just as we were about to enter the house after supper, she said that we needed to speak straight away and brought me to the nursery. The fact that it is the one room that Ben and I are not permitted to enter added to my apprehension. She expressed sorrow for not considering her house to be mine at this moment, and she promised to do better in the future if the situation arises. Even though the young lady revealed to me that her parents were harsh to her, she also said that it was okay for me to continue to love them, since they were not unkind to her. I couldn't agree with you more, and I can't say anything else. But she didn't tell me why she was going, despite the fact that my mother had used some of her master's tuition money to help pay for me and Ben's tuition and living expenses. I was wondering as to why she hadn't told me because she didn't want me to have a negative opinion of my mother, but I was also curious as to why she wasn't returning. I assumed she didn't want me to have a negative opinion of my mother. At the time, I felt like a complete and utter piece of. She said that she took us in because our mother was probably worried about what would happen to us if she were to abandon us, and that being with our father's parents may provide him the chance to take us with him to his new job. I burst into tears because I couldn't bear the thought of her passing away with everyone else we care about. She then informed me that everything she owned belonged to Ben and me, and that when she died, we would get everything. When I was in her arms, I cried like a baby till my head ached, and I was convinced that the body fluids had damaged her top. As much as I tried to recall everything you people told me to say to her, including how I should apologize and everything else, I couldn't remember anything, so I simply kept repeating I'm sorry. Afterwards, once she had finally succeeded in bringing me to a state of serenity, she questioned as to my health. I remembered something one of the users had said, and I told her how much I enjoyed doing all of the things we did together because it made me feel like I still had a mother, and how I was jealous of her because she spent so much more time with Ben, as if she wanted to be his mother but not mine, and how I was jealous of her because she spent so much more time with Ben, as if she wanted to be his mother but not mine. She kissed me on the cheek and told me that she loved me just as much as I adored her, and she vowed to make more time for us to spend together in the near future. Despite the fact that she forced me into cleaning my teeth and going to bed, she sat next to me in bed and held my hand until I no longer need her assistance. Obviously, I was fully aware that it was ridiculous, but I enjoyed it and it made me feel a little special once again. Since then, there has been a tremendous improvement in the situation. Due to the fact that we've been spending so much more time together, people have begun to believe that we're a true family. In spite of the fact that I haven't visited my former residence in a long time, I truly want to, but it will have to wait until another time. In all honesty, I'm simply relieved that things between my aunt and me are getting better and will continue to be better in the future. Edit. My free block is almost up, and I'm not heading to Reddit for lunch. I apologize for not being able to thank everyone individually, but I appreciate everything you said. It means a great deal to me. I adore you all. Edit 2. I appreciate everyone who DM'd me about the Mom for a Minute subreddit. It seems to be a terrific location, so maybe I'll publish there in the future.